The group rotation template can be found in the Pro Tools category, and it's the second one down in my list, and it's called Group Rotation Template. And if I select that, it brings the template up ready to run. A good list to run this template on is the list of sector ETFs, and this is a new list that's in the program by default now, so everybody has this list. If you just update it via Yahoo through to today's date, you could also do an intraday update if you wanted to get the latest intraday data. Once you've got the list selected, you then choose your percent change period and your rank averaging period. More about that later. But let's just leave them at the default now. It's 22 and 5, and I'm just going to hit the run button. So fairly quickly it comes back with the list of top 10 ranked symbols. So how is it choosing the ranking? And that's where we come back to the 22 day percent change period. It's 22 days for percent change, and the rank averaging period is 5. If we dig down deeper into this template, we'll see exactly what that means. If I choose the values sheet, it's actually outputting the 22-day percent change as a number into the values sheet for every day for every one of these ETFs. The percent rank takes those values and ranks them between 0 and 100%. So depending on how many stocks you have in your symbol list, you'll have different gaps between the actual percentage values. In this list I have 31 ETFs, and that equates to a difference between the lowest ranked stock and the next ranked stock of 3.3%. So it's 3.3% all the way out through this list from 0 to 100%. If you have more stocks in the list, obviously there's going to be a smaller gap between those percentage values, but it doesn't really matter. The average rank then takes the percent rank and it averages that value over the last n bars. That number of bars can be chosen, remember, in the first page where we choose the rank averaging period. By default, it's choosing 5 bars for the average. So you can think of that like go to the percent rank sheet, look at the last 5 values. So here we're looking at IAI, and we can see the last 5 values are right here. And we just take the average of those last 5 values, and it pops that value into the average rank sheet. And you can see in this case that IAI is the average of those values with 73.96%. So the average rank is the thing that populates the very first piece of the dashboard. So where we're looking at the top 10 ranked symbols, you can see right now we have IHE, IBB, IYH. And if we go to the average rank sheet, these are already sorted by the last day, 9/15/2014, you can see they're exactly in that order, and the values 97.98%, 93.3%, and 89.32% are duplicated here. We don't show the numbers after the decimal places in the dashboard sheet though. Then if you look at the bottom 10 ranked symbols, that is the ranking. If we go to average rank sheet and we just go down to the bottom, you'll see that the lowest ranked ETF is IEZ. So if we look at IEZ on the dashboard, that is the bottom ranked ETF, and it has a 2% average rank. Okay, and then the 10th worst is IYM with a 25% average rank. So then the next piece of the dashboard is showing the rank change to the upside. It's showing the biggest rank change to the upside, and that's calculated from the rank change sheet. So the rank change sheet is really just showing what the change in average rank was between yesterday and today. And the dashboard is taking those, the top changes, and populating them into this box up here, just to give you the top 10. Now if you want to see more than 10, obviously you just go down to the rank change worksheet, and you can see the whole list is populated in here. Rank acceleration is exactly the same. We have a section on the dashboard for rank acceleration, and it's trying to pick out things that are moving quickly, regardless of the change that they had from previous day. If they're moving quickly, they'll be put into this list. And that comes from the rank acceleration worksheet, which now has a fully populated list of all of the rank accelerations. Now, one of the changes to the group rotation template is a way to allow you to visualize how these rankings are changing. Let's go back to the average rank sheet. So we're just looking at pure average rank, how these ETFs sit in relation to each other based on 22-day percentage change. And if I take a look at the values here, I can see that IHE today has 97.98% rank. Yesterday it was 95.98. Day before it was 93.98. But it would be nice to be able to view this on a chart. That's exactly what you can do now. If you just double click on this symbol, it will pop up a chart, and that chart, if I just pin this to the top, that chart now will update. So now I'm looking at, let me just select the right symbol, IHE. Now I'm looking at IHE, and it's showing me in the lower three areas. And by the way, this group rotation template has been configured to automatically show this layout. So you don't have to do any other configuration. You just double click on the symbol, and it will come up with a layout which shows you the ETF price or stock price or whatever you have selected in here in the upper area, and then the lower three areas are values from the three different worksheets, or from three of the different worksheets. So we have the values sheet, which is actually, if you remember, that's just the pure percentage change over 22 days. Okay, so it's currently at 6.9, and I'll go back down to selecting the values sheet, and I'll look at IHE, and you can see that the value, so the 22-day percent change for IHE is 6.9%. Day before, yesterday, it was 7.67%, so you can see that value here is 7.67. So these values in the lower chart areas are coming directly from the worksheet. So the other area, the next area down, is the average rank. So if we go to, we'll forget percent rank, we're not putting that on the chart, we're looking at the average rank. So now I'm on the average rank sheet, and if I select IHE, the average rank right now is 0.980, or essentially 98%, 97.98%. So we can now see graphically how that ranking has changed over time, and in addition to being able to see the stock or the ETF in the top area of the chart. And the third area that's put down here is the rank change, and those values come from the rank change sheet, as you would expect. So currently the highest ranking change is IAT. If I select IAT, that is 11.34%, or 0.113. So the worksheet is showing it in actual percent, it puts a percent number in, and the chart is showing it as a decimal. So 0.113 is 11.3%. So now you have the ability to see how the average rank has changed for each one of these ETFs by just using your cursor key or selecting the ETF in the template report, and you can quickly see how the rank has changed. Now this is an exciting enhancement to EdgeRater and the group rotation template, because it allows you to visually see how ranking has changed. And by being able to visually see how ranking has changed, you can potentially get some insight into whether moves in a particular stock are moves that are with the flow of the market or against the flow of the market. It's particularly interesting, I think, to take a look at the actual value of percent change, which is in the top area here, versus the average rank compared to the other symbols that are in that list. So you can see they match in this case pretty well. The average rank is smoothed out a bit, but when the percentage change starts increasing, you can see down here percentage change increased, and the average rank didn't really change at all during that time. You can see that the ranking starts to increase around about here when percentage change is around about 2-ish%. And that may be an interesting figure. You can also see how the change happened. So this is your one-day change to the next day change. At this point here, where the curve is sort of at a peak, we can see that change has gone from 0. It started to get a boost up here, and then the average rank has taken over, and this becomes then one of the highest ranked stocks for that period of time at 0.862 or 0.854% in that time. Now let's go back to the average rank, and I'll sort these by highest rank, so there we can get a look at what is currently the highest ranked of these sector ETFs. Remember, we're looking at the iShares sector ETFs. This is a list that comes with the program now. And as I scroll down through the list, the next one on the list is, so the first one is pharmaceuticals ETF. The next one is the biotech ETF. You can see that biotech ETF has been at the top for some period of time, and it started just recently to have a little bit of a pull back. Obviously, the thing that overtook that would be pharmaceuticals, and we can come all the way down and take a look at all of these ETFs. Now, if I go to the very bottom of the list, we see that oil equipment and services is at the bottom, and we can see that it has been at the bottom since I should say August the 5th was when it hit one of the bottom ranked stocks or ETFs, but it came down from a ranking of pretty high, about 0.978. So this was one of the highest ranked stocks in July of this year, and you can see why it was one of the highest ranked stocks, because it's had this tremendous run up, but from July it started to wane a little bit, and you can see how the ranking of this stock has changed as the ETF value has started falling, and other stocks have then come into place, and you see the rotation. You can see the rotation in the market. So I think this is a really good template and a really good chart to allow you to get a feel for how things are changing. You can use this with the sector ETFs list in here to see how sectors are changing, but you can also run this against any list. So you could run this against the list of the NASDAQ 100, against the S&P 1500, against the Russell, anything you like, against the list of weekly options, and it will still give you information about how things are changing relative to each other. So a super useful template, and I hope that you can play around with it and enjoy it and get some flavor of how things are rotating within your lists. Thanks for watching.